Hi there, Tara here. I'm making my junk journal January for 2024. Real quick, Junk Journal January is brought to you by Meg Journals. If you haven't had a chance yet, please go check her out. I'm keeping it quick and simple and using mostly paper inserts that are found in your free newspapers. I have 10 of them. I'm calling them double and single-sided. The double side is the one that is folded and the single side is the ones that have pages that flip. So what I'm doing is I'm alternating them flip side and double side, and I'm just folding them in half. I have 10 of them in total, and I've made 2 groups of signatures with the alternations there, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to sew through them and they're not that thick. Also, using the same material, I have my cover, and my cover is just the same 2 pages, but 2 of them are glued to each other with just a regular glue stick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on that next and show you how it's done. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is the same technique that I used in my Western leather, faux leather journal. I'm just going to take this paper and I'm going to crumble it. I don't know if you're a fan of ASMR, but if you are, all right, and I'm not going to go crazy. I think that should be enough. I only just pasted it together with the glue stick not too long ago, so I'm just going to make this fun little ball and open it up. And it didn't come apart, so I'm happy with that. And I have one piece of cardboard here. I'm going to go grab another because I'm going to make a big mess. All right, so now I'm back. I'm just going to take some regular apple barrel paint, which is what I have the most of, in white. And I'm going to slop it all over the front and back of this cover. And I'm just going to brush it with a somewhat fluffy brush. This is just a makeup foundation brush. It's kind of fun for me to use for my arts and crafts because I don't use it on my face anymore. And I'm not going for anything fancy right now, just to kind of get rid of the actual content that's on here, although for Kevin Bacon, I do like the fact that he has the Bacon Brothers band, and he seems like a really nice guy. But art will have its way, and instead of putting these newspapers in the wood stove, they are going to become Junk Journal January memories. Just going to put a little more. And this is a lot. And I'm going to quickly fold it in on itself and give it another quick crumble. And I learned from last time, if you do this, you have to learn how to let it go quickly, because then what can happen is if the paint starts to dry, then your project will get ripped. So I'm really happy with that for now. I'm going to go in with another color. I will pick that and I will come back in a second when this is a little dry. Okay, now that that's mostly dry, I'm going to take a little bit of this Arteza Premium Metallic watercolor, acrylic color paint in Pearl Electric Blue, because I like the way that that sounds. A lot of people do feel blue. There's my cuckoo clock. During winter, so hopefully adding some blue to this journal removes the blues from everyone's thoughts and feelings for this year. And if they participate in Junk Journal January, should they have something to look forward to upcoming. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to take my glue stick, since it's almost done, and I'm going to actually try to roll the color on. I've seen people with brayers and other techniques to do this, but When in doubt, get creative. So I'm just going to use this. I'll turn it so maybe you can see a little better. So rolling it kind of smushes the paint, as opposed to when I was brushing it with the brush, it kind of just was getting in there, and I crumbled it and it got into it a little further. So I like to try something new, and any excuse to get paint on my hands, I'm going to take. So I'm going to try to get to the edges a little bit more with this, which is something I didn't get a chance to do before. Anything that's round will roll. So, all right, looks good. Getting there. Okay. All right, I'm going to give that a dry, and I have an idea for one more color, and I think it's either going to be a brown or a gold. Reason being is I have black thread and I have brown thread, and I think that those will look best with a little bit of that in the cover, like my hands. I'm still very matchy, so I'm going to put you on pause real quick, and I'll come back once this is dry and I pick my next color. Okay, so I picked my next color. It is, again, Arteza, and this is Pearl Space Gray. I found my signature thread, and it's kind of a gray-black, so I think that once that is sewn through here, this will be a good complementary color for that, and it'll help me wash out some of the sections that I'm still seeing here. Although I do intend to do something to decorate the cover for Junk Journal January, I still don't really want to be reminded of what's on here. So I'm going to try to deliberately base color where I see add still. Like I said, there's no doubt in my mind I will decorate up here, but I just want to be more deliberate about it. I'm going to go back with my brush to get deeper in. Literally, I'm going to try to wipe out anything I see that I can specifically make out as deliberate page at first. And I think I've blocked out most of what anyone could make out as paper. Now I'm just gonna move it around a little bit. Since I really liked the effect from before, I'm gonna go back in with my sophisticated glue stick and roll. Sometimes I feel like when you keep adding colors and keep adding paint, you get to the point of no return. I may be past that, I'm not sure. Let's try to get some of this to the end. I like the fact that the little thing that turns up the glue stick has a tread on it. I kind of got like a tire mark effect. That's something to think of next time. If I have something that has a little bit of a imprint or pattern on it, that could be really fun. So I think that accomplishes my mission. I am tempted to crumble it back up again, but I will not. But what I will do is I'm going to take my top and put it on my back, and I'm just going to press it down. I'm not concerned about the inside right now. I may decide to oops, see, like to stick together, be careful. I may decide to cushion it with some sort of packing material or something like that later, but for now I think we're off to a really great start. That is the back. This is the front, and obviously it's going to be way longer than my pages here that I've already folded in half. But I'll need that because with the thickness of these, I'm not sure how long I'm going to need for my cover at the end. So I'm just going to leave it big and floppy for now and finish it off later. So I will be back to do some hand washing and some signature hole poking and sewing. There's one more thing I actually want to do. I have some extreme glitter in Black Noir, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually splatter some on here randomly, and I'm going to rub it It is black. It has a little bit of silver in it. But what it actually does when it's dry is it kind of makes things look like black sand. So I thought that would just be a nice little addition to it as well. So it doesn't dry completely clear, but it dries almost clear. So again, I'm going to take my front to my back and press down. It's not something that shows up so much on camera, but when you see the grit and dirt after it's dry, I'll show you in a couple minutes. Okay, so now I'm back. The glitter is mostly dry. The paint is mostly dry. There's a little bit of light here, so I don't know if you can see, but the sparkle over here in this gray patch, and you can see another nice blob of that here when the light hits it. So hopefully I can get a better shot of that later. And even though on camera I use two metallic colors, they look really flat on camera and a little darker than they are naturally. So we'll try. The other reason why I like to use glitter is, especially on paper, especially if I've crumpled it, I've kind of weakened it. I didn't do what I did last time for my other journal, which was condition it with some sort of hand lotion or some other product. So I like the glitter because I feel like every time I use paper and I put glitter on it, it actually kind of protects it and makes it have like a different feeling, like almost plastic. Because I am concerned that if I'm not fully dry when I go to sew my signatures in, I could actually tear. So I'm going to try not to do that. And I will be right back to start the poking process and sewing process. Okay, so now what I'd like to do is mark where I want the holes, and I'm not going to overthink this. I brought the ruler out just for you guys, if no other reason. I have about 11 inches long, not totally, but almost 11 inches long. So my middle point is going to be somewhere around 5.5, probably a little less. So I'm going to go up here to 5.25, and I'm going to draw a line here. And I'm also going to draw a line here. And they, of course, are not even because of my wonderful drawing abilities. And then I'm going to go back up, put that back at 5.25. I don't know if you can see that or not. I can do it from this side. That's 5.25. And I'm going to go down about to the next full inch. So I'm going to go over here at 4 inches and make a line and make a line on the other side, and then just make it straight, or as straight as I can. This is a piece of a tape measure that I salvaged. I want to use in a next project. So always grab what I have around me and try to use it. I actually used it to rip papers yesterday, which was awesome. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to go up to the next inch, which will be, in this case, the 2. I'm going to mark it over here, and then I'm going to try to make the line straightish and extend it out. Okay, so now I'm going to take my papers. What I want to do is I want to put one down here and one down here. And I want to give them enough room to breathe and move. So I want one on this side of the line and one on that side of the line. So I'm just going to take this here. And I'm going to mark my page here, here, and here. And I'm going to do the same thing with this set of signatures, although you may not be able to see that from that angle. And I'm just going to mark it here, here, and here. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this one. And I am going to take my awl And I am going to poke a hole here in the signature and through the cover, hopefully not into my table. And I'm going to do the same thing here. And I'm going to do the same thing here. Again, hoping that I got through all the pages and hoping that I got through the cover. All right, I'm going to put you on a brief pause. I'm going to do the same thing with the other side and I'll be right back. All right, so now I have threaded my needle. You're lucky I didn't bring you along for that. This would have been an hour and a half long just for that video. And I am going to take enough thread to go through 1, 2, 3, 4 lengths. I probably won't need anywhere near that, but I like to have a lot of extra because I don't want to thread my needle again. And I'm just going to do a single pamphlet stitch on these. So I will be right back to show you that. I'm going to start with the back signature and then go to the front. Okay, so I never poked my pages for my signatures like that before. I've only really done signatures maybe 1.5 times. So that was a bad idea to poke on the side because it just went through the sides and the middle. So what I'm going to do to remedy that is I'm going to actually ignore the stitch on the front side and I'm going to go, not stitch, the hole on the front side. I'm going to go with the hole on the back side and make a new set of holes. And I'm going to actually use those holes. I thought about maybe using the front, but if anything, I would want the front a little longer than the back. And I'm just going to check to make sure that they went through. And you can't see them too well, but they are. And then something that I learned before is the thread is thicker than I think it is. So I'm just going to go in the back side and I'm going to poke them through to make them thicker and bigger. And I'm going to poke through and kind of wiggle it around to make them thicker and bigger. And poke through again to make the hole thicker and bigger. And I'm going to do the same thing with the cover and then I'll be back to sew. Okay, so I'm going to start to sew the first signature in. I'm not going to do anything fancy. I think this is called a pamphlet stitch. It's just 3 holes and basically 1 stitch. I don't know. So I'm going to go in through the middle here. You're not going to be able to see that, so please hold. And then I'm going to go through the middle of the cover. And I'm going to pull it through. And I'm going to get the cover out of your way. I have a lot more thread than I need. All right, and then I'm just going to leave this piece here. Okay. Now I'm going to go through the bottom and go through the bottom of my signature. Pull that through. Got it stuck on my cardboard. Actually, I don't need my cardboard anymore, but I was afraid the holes would make holes in the paper. All right, so I'm going to pull that through. I can see that it's coming, so let me turn it around so you can see. So there's the first big stitch there. All right, now what I'm going to go do is I'm going to go back in through the middle. And out through the cover. Okay, so now I have an inside stitch. And now I'm going to go back through the outside of the cover. And through the front. Through. Okay. And I keep pulling it snug. What I noticed with this is it will keep moving. So I try to just keep it as snug as possible. I know that I have it nice and tight when I can keep the stitch pulling this thread. All right, I'm gonna go back through. And I don't think I did this stitch right. Because it should just be through twice and then you should just tie the two ends. So I forget. So I'm going to turn it around and come up with a solution. All right, I am going to actually go back through the middle hole again and hope for the best. My stitch isn't even straight at all. Very odd. I don't know what intonation I did. So let's go back through. All right. Ponder the error of my ways. All right, and then I'm just going to tie it off. And then you'll see that that one is attached in there like that. So let me just tie this off. And I also noticed that my thread has a waxy kind of substance to it. So it actually likes to come undone as I work in my journal. So I'm going to tie it 3 knots. And I'm going to leave the strings long in case I need to take this off or do something else to it, or I figure out how to do the stitch the right way. I will work on that. So I'm going to sew in the other signature and I'll be right back. All right, actually I fibbed. I'm going to take you along with me. And I'm going to do it the same way I did it before, hopefully. Even though it's not right, at least it'll be consistent. So I'm going to go through here in the middle. And I'm going to leave a bit of a tail. And I'm going to go through the middle of the journal cover. Bear with me, I know you can't see real good. And I'm going to pull that out. And then I believe I went through the top. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go through the top of the cover. And then find the top of the papers. Maybe, maybe, maybe not. I just made a new hole. Not ideal. And I'm going to pull that tight. I know it's tight because this piece again is coming through. All right, I'm going to go, I think that's what I did wrong. I'm going to go back through the middle now. Okay. And then out. Tight. And now I'm going to go through the back. Through the back hole. Maybe. The holes are really hard to see with printed paper. Unfortunately, I'm making new holes. With thicker paper, that's actually not possible and not ideal because I don't want the journal signature to move around a lot. Nope, I'm with the same thing. All right, I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong, but I'm going to go back through. Okay. around. I'm going to go over this, my over or under. I'm going to go back in, hopefully over, so that I don't pop out the stitch I just made. Okay, not so bad. So if you can see, there's a big stitch here and a big stitch here, a big stitch here and a big stitch here. So I don't think that that's right, but it's in. So I'm gonna tighten it again. And it looks like I did get a little pull through, so I'm not happy about that, but that's okay. And I'm going to tie it once, tie it twice, and tie it 3 times. So it is stitched, but it's not a fancy stitch, and I don't think it's the pamphlet stitch because I don't remember having to go through that extra step when I did my other one. So these aren't as long, so I'm just going to cut it off right here. All right, so that's that. So I'll be right back and show you how it looks. Okay, so here's where we're at now. We have the 2 stitches in there for both sides of the journal. And when we open it up, we have the first set of signatures here. And then the back pages, and then a gap, and then the second set of signature pages here, and the back. So what I think I'm going to do is now, I think I'm going to take the cover, and I'm only going to need that much, so I'm going to almost be able to fold half of it like this, which I kind of like, and I'm going to make that part of the inside, and then I can do something fancy here. I can decide if I just want to make it like a pocket and maybe put the prompt for Junk Journal January or what. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. Which you're not going to be able to see. Right, so I can do a fold here. And then I can have the same thing on the back. So, and I can just stitch it or put something nice in here, or maybe put something that covers both pages, and then that way I can make this a little thicker. But here we are for now. And I like that a lot. And then that'll give it room to grow as well. So that is the start to my Junk Journal January. I don't mind that the pages aren't exactly even. As I go through, I might cut them down. But as for now, I'm going to call this a win. And I hope you enjoyed my Junk Journal January journal. And if you want to, please check out, again, Meg's Journals and join along in Junk Journal January. Bye.